All right, so I have Cindy Lou here with me. Cindy is the author of The Four-Man Plan, and I was so excited when I got connected to her because Cindy, thank you for my marriage.
You're welcome.
I would have never in a
I
million
always tell
years,
people I'll take 3% credit. I can't believe. Let me turn on my phone.
I never would in a million years would have thought I would have met the author of The Four-Man Plan, which is
Yay!
how I nabbed Charlie. So we're going to talk today about how to apply the concept of the four-man plan, which is a dating concept, to recruiting in your business. And Cindy's also going to share some really great nuggets on applying these concepts to time management and balancing multiple areas of your life. And I'm super excited because that's way more than I thought I was getting today. So I'll tell you guys briefly the story. When I met Charlie, I was out of a stupid relationship. My friend and I went and read everything we could on how to get a man. My friend read Four-Man Plan. We shared notes. And so when I met Charlie, I said, hi, Charlie. Just so you know, I don't want a boyfriend. I'm working the Four-Man Plan. You're currently number 3. Or he says, what number am I? I said 3. And he's like, okay. And that's not even a joke. That's what I told him. And we were married 1 year and 8 days from our first date.
Wow.
And I always cite the Four-Man Plan because I was the classic case in your book of nice to meet you. My name's Tasha. Let's see if you're marriage material. Blinders off.
Serial monogamous, yeah.
I'm very responsible. I was like born for marriage. Like I always had one best friend, and then one best friend, and then one best friend. And I mean, like, there's no grass is greener on the other side for me. And so your work was really helpful because I like behavioral psychology and it made a lot of sense to me. So thank you. And since then, in some of my recruiting coaching, I talk about the Four-Man Plan and how it relates to recruiting. So I would love to get your take as a creator of this concept. So can you just give our audience just a big overview of how the Four-Man Plan works?
Well, I created the Four-Man Plan because I too was a serial monogamist, and it really didn't matter if that person that was like next in line was appropriate for me, available, had a view on life that I shared or could meld with. It was just whoever was next, usually the next person I slept with or seemed at all interested in mutually, right? And what that led to is a lot of time and energy spent imbalanced in what our wants were, the time frames, the commitment levels, and I was always just trying to force it, or was dodging it. It was one or the other. That somebody wanted me too much. I was like, oh, but if you're my boyfriend, I should do this. I was like, no, you're not your boyfriend, right? So I developed this after another disastrous relationship breakup situation, and decided that I was a smart woman. I was a good businesswoman. I was good with my friends. I had emotional intelligence. I could get work. And yet in that area, I was flailing, behaving in ways that were immature, irresponsible, reckless, needy. I was a bit of a stalker. And I would always be like, no, don't call. I mean, just wait. I was just such a mess about it. And they can feel that, they can smell that. And so as soon as I relaxed and just went, okay, if I have, the Four-Man Plan, really, to me, the number 4 is fairly arbitrary because really it's about more than one. Because when you're recruiting, be it dates or builders or whatever, right, you want to have more than one going at any given time, or else you will mistake that one for something that it's not yet, or may never be. Right. So when you have more than one, you can sort of, and that you're always recruiting until something lands, right? Until someone can match your energy and you want to match their energy of the interest level, commitment level, and that type of thing, then you can just always keep your options open without creating too many options, right? I think one of the crippling things in life these days is too much choice without boundaries or limitations. That's why I think my book is having a little bit of a resurgence because of Bumble and Tinder and, you know, all this online dating options. It's like you get too many things happening at once. So whether you are in the situation beginning, right, where you're just looking for people to even consider building with, right, or you're on the opposite end where you have too many people coming at you and who should I take on right now? Because that does happen, right, where you get too many people that want to build and share with you, and you have to be selective. It at least puts a boundary around what you're doing so you can think about those limitations for yourself too. So it goes both ways. It helps you to recruit, and it also helps you to create boundaries.
I love that. So I want to make sure everyone knows that your career right now, so you have a band.
Yes. So
tell us about what your life is like, because I think it's interesting. I was like, seriously, and you have a little network marketing business on the side? That's so cool.
Yeah.
So you get this. Yeah, tell us about yourself.
So I am I was an actress for 20 years. So actually the 4-man plan started as a comedy routine that turned into a one-woman show, that turned into a book, that turned into a coaching business, you know, that turns into all of these videos and interviews and other things that I do. So something that started out as just something to heal my own heart became something that other women were interested in, and it was incredibly organic. And I think that the journey of that does mirror, you know, something that you're sharing from your heart that you would love to see grow, right? So it started out me figuring out how a smart girl might apply her smarts to something like dating. And then I met my husband. We were together 18 years. We just recently divorced, and I am back on my own plan. So looking at all my options, and I'll take 18 years as a win, by the way, considering that before the 4-man plan, my longest relationship was 5 months. So I'm like, yes, I did great. And so I decided after looking at all my options to move to a Caribbean island off the coast of Cancun. And I also decided to live my dream of being a singer. And so I started a beach lounge band called Loca Lele, in which my bandmate is 64 with Parkinson's disease, never performed before, just got her bongos out, and we're just going for it. So now we're professional musicians on a Caribbean island. Meanwhile, awesome. I'm still doing my network marketing business. You'd be surprised. It just sort of falls in my lap here because it's a different way of relating to people in this small island community, you know? So the form of it has changed, but the way I organize it in my mind has not. That's cool.
Awesome. So can you explain a little of the psychology behind this 4-man plan or 4-builder plan, however we want to look at it can you just talk a little bit about psychology, because I think it's really important.
Yeah, well, I think the mind shift, and I'm not a professional anything with any letters behind my name. I am a girl who sat down and thought there's got to be a better way, right? And part of what I do in my work as a coach is I help people with perception shifts. And sometimes in an instant, right, you can sort of change things and blow them up for yourself and also for other people. Because really, you know, all of life is dating and sales. Whatever it ends up being, that something that you want, right? If there's something that you're going for, it is a combination of dating and sales, right? So even my little band, I had to look for a bandmate. Now I'm willing to have up to 3 more bandmates, but for now I have the one. I have auditioned several bandmates, and they just don't qualify to be in my life closely for one reason or another. Now, when we think about a band, you can go like, oh, that makes sense. Let's fill it up with 3 or 4 people, right? When we think about a group of of builders, you know, usually what we'll do is if we get one that shared it with her cousin and maybe, you know, sold one little thing or asked you, hey, I shared it with my cousin, what do I do, right? That does not make them your next frontline super builder. And sometimes what we'll do is, because we're so desperate, we'll try to turn that person into something that they are not ready for yet, or might not ever be interested in, or might have wanted to pursue in a smaller way, but then we scared the bejesus out of them by being too aggressive, right? So the real mindset shift is relax, right? There are a lot of people that you can attract. There's going to be all different kinds of people. If you're new to your own business, you need to explore yourself in that business. What is your voice like? How are you going to want to interact and train and mentor, you know? And can you find people that line up with that or fill in other skill sets, right? So instead of trying to take each person and try to make them everything, you're looking at the whole situation as, I have a lot of space, and each person starts in a small space in your life and in your business. And then as you match each other's energies and find out who you are, allow that to expand in an organic way.
Yeah.
So I would say that's the biggest perception shift, is like, it's like you're better off spending your time recruiting more different, diverse types of people that are also marginally interested because they don't know anything about it, right? Than to take that one person that you've got and just beat the crap out of them with all the information that you have and all the knowledge that you have and all the training that you have. You know what I mean? Like you're better off waiting, you know, just letting that person, you know, my rule of thumb, I don't like to use that saying because of what it actually means. But my general precedent, right, is that I let them set the pace, but I always respond to them immediately. And then I always leave it so that they have heard from me last, and that the door is open for them to respond at their own pace.
Yeah.
Right. So once I've done that with a person, then the rest of my time, instead of like waiting, when are they going to call me? When are they going to do their next consult? When are they going to do their mentor training? Right. I just open the door to begin again with these small units of people and their small unit of interest.
I love that. Can I add my personal experience? And
of course.
So I remember, you know, your mama was like, play hard to get. I was like, that doesn't sound right. And what I noticed is this concept of being hard to get makes you more attractive as a person in general, right? You don't want to be friends with a person who doesn't have friends. You don't want to be the only builder of somebody. I mean, obviously if they're new and they're your best friend and all that, like it's good to start. But you want to be a part, like we know that there's that social proof that's involved. And I think that as a leader, right, when we have, the way I looked at it is like there's that guy, I mean, I was this person actually in high school where I was like in love from afar from this guy, like for years, right? And then, but you think about the guy that comes up to you sometime senior year, right before school ends, and is like, I've been watching you for the past 3 years, and this is your favorite food, and this is your favorite this, and this is your favorite this. Like, will you go out with me? And everyone's like, whoa, that's not okay. As opposed to saying, hi, would you like to have ice cream, and get to know each other? And I think there's so many parallels in recruiting, being a powerful recruiter, to where what we want to do is, instead of like looking them up and down and like sending a PI on them to see if they're going to quit on you, right? To be able to say, would you like to have ice cream? And would you like to have ice cream? And would you like to have ice cream? Which what I've learned is it just makes you feel more confident.
Yes.
Like I notice right now I'm in a space where I've decided to ramp up my coaching practice, like to go from like 3 clients to 10 clients. And I open for business now. My schedule's like super full. And I'm like, I don't know, schedule with me or don't schedule with me. I have 1 spot left. And all of a sudden it's like, I need to schedule with you. I need to schedule with you. And people are going to have to meet with me in 2 weeks. And they're like, that's fine. I want in on this, because you're obviously a good coach if you're in such demand. And so can you talk about that a little bit?
I think part of the 4-man plan, what we say is like, you actually have to let all the men know that you're seeing other people, right? That's a very big principle of the plan, because being honest, being loving, being willing, those are the 3 things that you want to be to attract, right? The rest of the credentials I really don't care about until it's further along. And I think that's very similar here. It's like, if they know that they are not the only person that you are approaching, right? And that the way you approach it is with such a light touch that they can see how you're sprinkling that magic, because you're easy breezy. You know what I mean? It's like, hey, I'm doing this thing. If you're into it, if it lights you up, please let me know, because there's so much more to learn, right? And here's the next time when I'm available to talk to you about it, right? So if you just do it with such a light touch and you just say, let me know, because these are the days I have and these are other people that might be interested, so that we can do this all at once, right? Do it so simply with such a light touch that they go like, oh, I have to make a decision. Do I want in on this or not? Now they're actually going to go through the thought experiments and the internal searching that you want them to do, that makes it an authentic decision for them. Because I have this experience. Like, I dragged a couple people into my network marketing business because I thought it would be good for them, and I thought they would be right for it, and I thought they would be great at it, and I thought it would save their whole life, right? That's called codependence. So and it's nasty. And then you have these people who respond to codependence in a number of different ways. Some of them are going to go, great, I'm going to eat up, gobble up all your time and energy, and I don't actually even want this. But since you dragged me into it, I don't care. You know what I mean? I just want all the information and time and energy, and free product, but I don't actually have a genuine interest in it. And later, 6 months later, you'd be like, oh, I gave you all my time and all my energy and you didn't want it. It's like, well, you didn't give me a chance to make that decision. You just put me on a train and set me off.
Yeah.
Right? So I think that when they understand that you have other people that you're talking to for the same position, but there's several slots, but not too many slots, right? That they have to go like, oh, is this something that I want? And is this the person that I want it with? And when we give them that option, now you're recruiting people that have actually made a process choice for themselves to include it in their life. Not just that you were really convincing or really needy and they're a people pleaser and they don't know how to say no, and they're codependent and they're narcissistic, and so now you're meshed. You know what I mean? It's like all of
so much drama.
Yes, so much drama is not necessary. And I think this open recruiting process where you just let people be babies if they want to be babies. Like in my network marketing company, which is, it's doTERRA, right? Like, I really want people to just use it themselves for 3 to 6 months before they come and tell me I'm ready to just start building. You know what I mean? I'm very cautious with people who want to make a business out of it without knowing they love the product too.
Sure.
Right? So it's a way to create space in both time, in experience, within your life, and let things happen a little more organically while making sure it has a driving system behind it.
Yeah, I think the system is what's important. And what you said, you were just talking about a lot of drama. I do so much coaching in the drama space.
Oh God, the drama.
And just the reality of the resentment that happens when you don't operate with this kind of mindset, because you put so many expectations on a builder and then they're bound to disappoint. And then there's resentment that starts setting in and you invested so much. I feel like having a system of what I call keeping 4 potential builders in the hopper at all times,
Mm-hmm.
actually allows for more grace, kindness, compassion, and better relationships, right? And I remember there's this one guy that I was dating in the process that was so nice, but just ultimately was not for me. And we were able to stay friends
Yes.
because it wasn't like, are you the one for me? Are you the one for me? Like, it wasn't so intense.
Yeah.
Right. And then it blew up. And I think that if you're in the network marketing space and you're trying to build your team, to not just be like, are you the one? Are you the one? Because there's just so much drama potential. And you
And can
don't,
I tell
nobody
you,
says, I want to run a business with lots of drama.
yeah, me neither. And I would say that one of the important places to have this perception shift of giving people space, giving yourself space, is with your warmest market, right? Your personal friends and family need to have breath around this. You get so excited, I'm doing this new thing, I want you to do it with me, and you want to grab them, and you definitely don't want to jeopardize that primary relationship, right? That like for me, I always tell my new builders, like, if they're my friends already, I'm like, listen, we are friends first. I never wanted, my sister's on my front line, right? I never ever wanted that this business would create a type of drama or a neediness or a dynamic, right, that would ruin my primary relationship with that person. And that's when taking a step back, letting them make their own decisions, letting them come to you, you know what I mean? Like letting that space happen, with them knowing that you are moving forward. You have other people that you can work with, that you want this drama-free experience with people who actually want it. I think that it's especially important for your warmest market.
I love
Right?
it.
Yeah, because I think a lot of us do create drama with our own friends and family accidentally, because we think we know this is right for them. And this too is why network marketing, I think, I'm all about personal growth. The 4-man plan, it turns dating, the process of dating, into a system of personal growth. You're the common denominator now. You're dating 4 guys, or, you have, then if you keep seeing the same issue over and over again, it's you, right? And it's the same thing. If you have 4 or 5 builders and every one of them is telling you it's too much information, or like they can't handle this
That's so
aspect
good.
or that aspect, you get to look at yourself and be like, how am I being a Tina turnoff in general? You know
Did you
what
think
I mean?
Tina turnoff?
And then, yeah.
That,
And if you think to yourself,
sorry, that's just so funny.
well, that's what I call it. You know what I mean? Because it's like, whoa, now you're a Tina turnoff, because I am turned off. I was turned on, now I'm turned off, and you did it. You know what I mean? Because I was into it a little bit, and then you made me try to make a decision sooner than I was ready without the proper time and space, and now I'm just turned off in general. And you get to look at yourself and be like, how did I become Tina turned off?
Yeah, that's so good. Now I know you had, I love that. And so if I can just kind of do a recap, because we covered a lot. 4 builder plan leads to less drama, more space, probably more joy in your business, because right, you're not trying to strangle that one person.
Can I say one more thing on this too?
Of course.
Is with this is something I tell women and these builders, if you're a leader, right? If you're a woman that knows what you've got, when you come at this with like, wait a minute, I have a lot of value. I have so much to offer. And when you lead with what you have to offer, and when you lead with, and I don't mean this in a bitchy way, right? When you lead with, you know what, you would be lucky to be with me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean that in the most empowering way for both parties. And that if we line up, we'd both be lucky, right? I think that's an important approach to both business and dating. Know that this is not about, oh, I hope they like me. Oh, I hope they want to do this with me. Oh, it's like, no, wait a minute. This is a mutual discovery of what our value is. And I'm going to lead with my value, not with my needs.
That's so good. So we'd be lucky to have each other versus the desperate mentality is I would be lucky if you said yes to be on my team.
Yes.
And
yeah.
I think
and then the over egotistical is like, you would be lucky for me to accept you. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So there's this happy balance where you know what you're bringing as value. And when you seek another's value, right? That's love. Because you're not judging that, you're really looking for the gold. And that's the other thing I tell people. It's like, when you go on a date, don't look for a husband, hunt for gold. Everybody has a treasure that they have been cultivating and they want to share it, right? You just have to find what it is in that person. And when you're not filled with agenda, if you're filled with agenda, you ain't finding the gold. You're finding whether or not they fit your agenda, if they're going to fit the tuxedo that you want your husband to be wearing on birthday, on your wedding day, instead of really figuring out what gold that person has to offer.
That was amazing. That just like took my breath away. That was so good. Thank you, Cindy.
Sorry, that wasn't in the recap.
I'm gonna need a minute to recompose myself. You wanted to talk about time management as well and how you're managing multiple careers. Many people are managing their maybe multiple businesses or their family, and how the concept that we talked about here, how that applies.
Yeah, well, so if you look at the 4-man plan, oh God, none of us have a graph. Basically, look at the window behind me, okay? So the 4-man plan is 4 boxes, but they're all divided also into 4 boxes, right? So you actually have 16 little slots. Okay. And most people who try a network marketing product go like, oh my gosh, I really like this, right? And then they go like, wow, there's a business opportunity here. They already have a life, right? Nobody buys a new product and looks at network marketing and has 0 life. So if they do, right? So what you want to do then is allow yourself to be like, you know what? For me now, if I have these 16 squares, that maybe this new little adventure that I'm on with network marketing might be two squares, right? Or it's like right now, if my book needs a lot of attention, my coaching needs a lot of attention, then I would give those more space and give my network marketing a little less space, but it doesn't go away. And I think that understanding that you have space, you can just shrink things and grow things, even on a week-to-week basis, even on a day-to-day basis. You know, right. It might help you feel sane about all the balls that we're juggling, and certain things are on simmer and certain things are on fire right now, right? Yeah. So that's how I use it, to be like, right now I'm more focused on my band, right? And my coaching, and then my network marketing is alive for me to respond to, and also always open for new recruits.
Awesome. And I'm sure there have been times where that's shifted for you. Like for me.
Oh yeah. I mean, there were years ago, like 2015 is when I went to, got educated and became an internationally certified aromatherapist. It was definitely full force in front at that point, you know what I mean? And then we did this apothecary business for a minute, and that became full force, you know what I mean? So meanwhile, then I just become this like professional at many things, but I don't feel like I'm wearing too many hats, because there are some limitations on my time and what is a priority for me right now.
Right. So it's not, I have 10 businesses. It's,
no,
I have a few, right? And that all fits in. And then did you want to talk a little, I guess that was kind of the time management and the career.
Yeah. I mean, whether it's your time, because it's your family, if it's, other pleasurable things, or your health maybe needs to have a nice block, you know what I'm saying? Even within a certain experience, like if I talk to people about doTERRA and they're starting out, I say right now it's got to be 75% you experiencing the product on yourself, you know what I mean? And maybe 15 to 25% of the time that we talk about the business model and how you can advance that in your personal recruiting. Then after the 3-month mark or so, when they have a grasp on the product, and then we can start to change that percentage of, let's spend more of the time on your business knowledge, you know what I mean, the recruiting, and less time on usage and all that thing. So even within a certain subject, you just give yourself space. Like these are growing and shrinking spaces instead of, it's so easy to get overwhelmed, isn't it, in all areas. So this is kind of the system that I use to just balance my life out. Anytime I feel overwhelmed, I go, let's draw a graph.
Totally. And so, we do a lot of accountability coaching on overwhelm, and we'll tell people in a 2-week period, you cannot have more than 4 projects, right? Like it's just not, and I just think it's so interesting that the number 4 keeps coming up. When I'll coach on recruiting, I'll say, probably you need 4 invitations to get 1 business overview or recruiting conversation. And you'll need 4, right? 1 yes, heck yes, 1 heck yes, and then they disappear, 1 no, and 1 maybe.
I think the really important thing that you're point, I love the number 4 because it's a number of balance, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I think the important thing that you and I are both pointing out, both in dating, recruiting, sales, responses, is that it's a numbers game. It's totally a numbers game, right? Just like being up to bat, like Babe Ruth struck out more than anybody else. He had more home runs than anybody else. It's a numbers game. And the more you allow yourself to have these numbers, just like you're saying, that if you talk to 4 people, you're going to get 1 positive response probably.
Yeah. Well, and to your point earlier, it's not 10 people because that's too many.
That's right.
That's too overwhelming. So, I noticed this last week or the week before when I mentioned that I flipped the switch on my private coaching practice, and I had so many calls. I was overwhelmed. I felt myself getting really stressed, where, for this last spot I think I do actually have 4 potentials, and that feels really good. Like one of them is going to go through and it's going to be fine, as opposed to having tons and tons of potentials for that one and then being overwhelmed.
And how great with those 4 choices, it's going to be somebody who really wants it. And you too have a choice, because you can say, like, you know what, if it's somebody that you're like, I don't know if I can have a working relationship with this person, you can be like, you know what, I actually have other people to fill that spot. And so maybe in the next cycle, or here's a different coach for you. Like you have choices of the people that you bring into your life too. Of course, we want the numbers, we want the builders, but if you've been in the business for a while, you know that frontline builder or that builder of yours, they're in your life. You know what I mean? So stay in there, right? So to be able to do a little bit of a slower dance with several people instead of grabbing at whoever is going to make everybody just have a happier life about it.
I love that. Cindy, we should probably wrap up here. You've been so awesome. And I'm still like, look for gold with no agenda. That was just brilliant. First, is there anything else you wanted to finish up with? And what's the best way for people to follow you?
Great. Yeah. So the book is thefourmanplan.com. The number FOUR is spelled out. And there's a the, so thefourmanplan.com. And then my handle is my.doterra.com/Malibu. And I am an internationally certified aromatherapist, and I am a builder and a leader. So we also have a podcast that I'd love to have you on.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So those are the 2 ways that you can reach me.
Okay, awesome. And is there any last thoughts that you wanted to give?
I think that the most important advice that I give in my book and in life is have fun with this. Life is meant to be fun. Life is fun is a bit of a North Star, and that's a first world privilege that we have, right? Is that we get to feel this internal compass of, are we having fun or are we not having fun? And if you're not having fun, you're doing it wrong.
I love that. I love that so much.
Shift your perspective, right? Because the funner perspective is available to you, and it can happen in an instant. And I hope it happened to a few of you today.
Oh, I love that. Well, I had tons of fun because this is just a hilarious way to talk about recruiting. And I love that. So, Cindy, thank you so much. I'm going to end our recording now. So say bye to everyone. And we're super grateful.